Hey there, today I'm in my garden and I'm talking about perennials. So now it is spring. Spring has been here for me for I would say well over a month, but for some people you're just getting into spring, or you may have another few weeks, maybe another month before you can plant anything out, like directly outdoors. So as I continue to grow my garden every year, I have like a little patch of perennials here behind me. Those are my 3 favorite perennials that I have planted so far. I want to share those, and I want to share 4 new ones that I added, that I ordered, that I'm going to plant this month. The first perennial that I love, that I started a couple years ago, is Echinacea, which is a coneflower, purple coneflower. There's a lot of different varieties, but that is the only one I have right now. I hope to get more varieties later, but those I have several behind me that are growing, and I have several little new babies that I think dropped from seed last year, as well as some that I started during winter sowing. So the little you can see, I have a little plant ID app where I can kind of, if I can't tell if something is a weed or like a perennial, or if I can't tell what kind of plant it is, I'll just use that little plant ID app to take a picture of it. And so I have about 5 new little babies, and then the others that I have growing, some of those have already started to get the little like flower bud on those, and then those will bloom behind me this probably in the next month or so, and then I will have beautiful flowers like all summer long. The next one that I have had really good luck with are black-eyed Susans. There are a lot of different varieties of black-eyed Susans. I think I ordered mine from Eden Brothers. I've just gotten some from packs. So those will be blooming behind me. I don't know, it may be another month or 2, but those also reseed. Those reseed very easily. I would say those reseed for me better than Echinacea. That may not be the case for everybody, but I already have like lots of little baby black-eyed Susans popping up all behind me in the garden. The third one that I want to talk about is Shasta Daisies. So 2 years ago I planted Shasta Daisies in my garden, and they bloomed. So I planted them in the fall. I really had no idea if they were going to work for me, and then in the spring I had all these little plants growing, and at first I didn't know what they were, because I had planted the black-eyed Susans, the Shasta Daisies, and something else. And then before I understood how perennials work, they just got really small, stopped, and then just kind of stayed that way all winter long. And in the spring they just started to grow and grow and grow. And so I have had this patch of Shasta Daisies for about 2 years now. The foliage does not die down. So the Echinacea foliage dies down, the black-eyed Susan foliage dies down, but the Shasta Daisy foliage stays green all winter long. So as I've already been planting, I've already started planting other things out. I've planted some dahlias, I've planted some banana plants. I keep saying that, sorry. I planted some banana plants, I've planted dahlia tubers, some dahlias from seed. I started thinking like I want to plant some more perennials, because they will make it even if their foliage dies down over the winter, that will be something I have next year that's early color for the garden, that I don't have to replant. My goal is to have a good mix of annuals and perennials in the garden. That way I have like a good mixture of like early color, summer color, and fall color, because some of the ones that I planted today I think thrive in the, they all I think do pretty well in the heat. Some of them need some shade, but I think some of them do more, they like have good color in the fall and winter. Listen to the birds. The first one I want to share, this one says annual on the pack, but it is perennial for me. It's the blue sage salvia. So I am really excited to plant these. It says you can direct sow. They like full sun, and they get up to 36 inches tall. Hardiness zones 3 through 9. So those will be hardy for me, and should become perennial and be here year after year. So I think I'm going to try a couple in little containers, like little pots, and then I'm also going to just like direct sow some in the ground. This is Balm, wild bergamot, and I got these from Eden Brothers. It says life cycle perennial, plant in the spring and in the fall, blooming time in the summer, full sun. This like a purple color, and they will get 3 feet to 4 feet tall. Yeah. The next one that I hear so much about is yarrow. Right here. There's so many different varieties. I like this color. This one says plant in the fall and in the spring, direct sow, full sun. They get 12 to 24 inches tall, hardiness zones 3 through 9. And these are tiny. This shows the size of the seed. It says there are 1,775 seeds in this pack, and it covers up to 80 square feet. Each one of these packs is about $5 or $6. So you can, well, I'll come back to that. Now, I don't know if you say this lupin or lupine, but look at these. Look how pretty. These are hardy zones 3 through 10. Plant in the spring. You can direct sow or start indoors. Full sun, partial shade, up to 4 inches tall. On these, it says, let me think. The yarrow seeds said these. It said they need like cold stratification. I'm gonna try those out and see. I may put some in the refrigerator to give those like a cold period. But these, it says these require that you sand or like lightly sand the seeds or soak them, and that's the size of the seed right there. So there's 40 seeds in this pack. It says plant these in the spring, and I'm really excited to try these because I mean those are so pretty. Those could be planted, these get up to 4 inches tall. So depending on what you have in your garden, I will plant these like in the middle or probably towards the back of the garden. So I have some potting soil over there in that little wheelbarrow. My husband moved it over there, but right now I'm going to get some of that, take it over here to my little potting bench, and I'm going to try to plant some of these salvia seeds in little pots, and then probably later on today or sometime this week I'm going to plant some more of these like direct sow in the ground just as an experiment, because I want to see how they do. Like, do they do pretty well if you put them just directly in the ground? The seeds are really tiny, so some of these will not require to be really buried. You just sprinkle the seeds down, pat them down, and then water them in. So I'm gonna do that real quick. So I'm going to plant a few of these. Well, hang on. I'm going to plant a few of these and a few of these in these little containers. These need light to germinate. So I'm going to just take some of these out of the pack. There's 254 in the pack, 284. I'm only going to put a few in there, and then I'm just going to lightly press them down and lightly water them. This is the bee balm. I'm going to do the same thing. Just lightly press it into the soil. Okay, so for right now, I have planted all of those. I planted the Salvia and the Balm. So I planted them in these little containers. This is little Echinacea from Winter Sowing Project. So I planted everything in these little containers, and I just wrote on it with a Sharpie. That's kind of why I like these. I don't have to have a tag. So this, all three of these are Balm. These three are the Salvia. I'm also going to plant some in the garden, probably over here and over here in this garden bed, and then that way I can kind of see how these progress compared to like just direct sowing. Well, that is all I have today. So today I talked about 3 perennials that are my top 3 favorites so far, and I added I've talked about 4 new ones that I just ordered. I'm going to continue to try to order little seed packs of perennials so I can get some started in the spring, because you can start them, the seed packs, to start in the spring or start in the fall. So I'm going to try starting them in the spring this year to see if I have better luck than starting them. That was my gate. I'm going to try to start them in the spring to see, not to see if I have better luck, but to see if I have better progress. Not to see if I have better luck, but to see if I have better like progress with growth, and that some of these might actually bloom this year, like late summer or fall. So if you made it to the end, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.